One, two. Mic check, mic check. You guys there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Good.
Wait, I want to be at Club Cilos all the time.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I apologize because I didn't get to do a sound check earlier, so I hope the sound was clear, not muffled,
yeah.
not too loud. Everything okay?
You were straight. Yes.
Phenomenal.
Beautiful mix. Beautiful. Beautiful mix.
Phenomenal.
So welcome back to the Kim Dynasty show.
Welcome back. We here. We here with Dior Ashley Brown. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, she's amazing. And we're going to get into all of that. So we ready?
Yeah.
When we get to the nitty and the gritty.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first and foremost, where you from?
I'm from DC, but I'm also a military brat. So I've lived in a couple of other places.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What part of DC?
So I'm from uptown, a little bit of northeast. Yeah, pretty much uptown and northeast. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I will call it uptown northeast because I lived in like Fort Totten area, and then so that's pretty much northeast, and then uptown near like Kennedy Street, Calvin Coolidge area. Yeah.
I don't know how old you are, but do you look? I don't know if you remember the Ibex, but
I wasn't allowed to go to the Ibex.
I partake.
I heard many Ibex stories. My cousin would not let me go. But yes, I've heard.
As soon as you
yes.
say Kennedy, I said, oh, I know right where you are.
Yeah. Oh man. I went to Coolidge for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that you went to Duke Ellington, right?
I went to Duke Ellington.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to Coolidge for 1 year, and then my mother transferred me to Duke Ellington, and I studied theater at Duke Ellington.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always been in the arts, and yeah, she made sure I stayed in the arts. So yeah.
Hey, I have a
okay,
question.
So that's where you get the playwright part, right?
So so I studied theater there.
Okay.
And I was just focused on. I think at that time I was just focused on being a good actor. I had started really young. I was like kind of cocky because like I finally was like a little bit more comfortable on stage. And I would say that once I met Vera Katz, who's like a phenomenal teacher, she brought me down to size a little bit. It started challenging my context. And
yeah, humble you a little bit. Okay. So now, when did you find love for music?
So music has always been the backdrop, even before theater. My father can sing. He's got like a Luther Vandross tone, and I'm not even joking with you. My father has like a Luther tone, and so they
Big
played
Luther, little Luther.
Yeah.
Big Luther tone. Like a big, he got a
home Luther.
You funny, but you know it because I think he did. Oh my! I was about to call him out, but when he did "I See Us in the Park" and stuff is when he started turning into Little Luther. But it still sounded good now. But yeah, my father used to play jazz. My dad played jazz in the house and in the car, and so I kind of already had that foundation. So he was playing music, and all of his brothers and sisters are musically inclined. They either sing or play instruments. So at Thanksgiving and holidays, we're singing around, the Thanksgiving table. And my grandmother, had them all in church. She was an evangelist. So she had them all in church, bringing them to the front, calling them to the front. So my father just always had music around us. And I was singing first. I was singing first before anything. I was singing Whitney songs and Mariah Carey and all that at the top of my lungs. In the house, knowing songs verbatim, word for word,
Okay, so now what was your inspirations coming up like?
Oh man, that is a great question. My inspirations, definitely Whitney Houston, definitely Luther Vandross. definitely Tevin Campbell. And then I got introduced to Nonchalant. When I was living overseas, my father and mother would buy me like when a CD like came in, it was like contraband. When that CD would come in, it was like, oh my God, what's that? So it would be like if Aaliyah came out, everybody on base was listening to Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? You know, age ain't nothing but a number. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was listening to that album. So that we cherished every moment of that. So my dad bought me a couple of CDs. I remember like my first being like Shaq Diesel when Shaq was rapping. Yeah, and then like I was introduced to rap through like Queen Latifah, Nature of a Sister album, and Nonchalant's Until the Day. And so yeah, and then of course the rap that was kind of happening in R&B at the time. Yeah, so I was inspired early on by, you know, those artists in jazz. Like I said, jazz has always been the backdrop, the foundation.
Yeah, because I see that a lot of your influences when I looked you up online was like Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Lauryn Hill, people like that.
So Lauryn Hill and stuff came later, like as I started maturing into music. When I was living in Colorado, like I used to hang around a lot of skaters, and they turned me on to Outkast. They turned me on to Nas. I was listening to Mobb Deep. So like, I was like, yo, and of course, Tupac and Biggie, like, so, and then, you know, at that time I was also experiencing like the East-West Coast war, you know what I'm saying? So like people who are partial to Biggie and partial to Tupac, you know, and then in Colorado, I learned a little bit more about gang culture, you know what I'm saying? So Bloods and Crips.
In Colorado?
In Colorado. OG, like it was not, you know, it was really, really serious. I remember going to the skating rink, and one week it was like Crips, and then the next week it was Bloods.
Wow.
And you didn't come out of color. You had to be smart. Wow. So I used to have to go to school and be very neutral. And even though, you know, I was partial to a side, you had to be very neutral. So yes, hip hop in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, it was a heck of an influence. Yes.
So now, when did you start taking the music seriously? Like, when did you first start recording?
I didn't start recording until like the mid 2000s. I thought I was just gonna do acting, and I studied theater. I went to college for theater, and I just was gonna be a professional actor. And you know, I had dreams of being Whitney Houston when I was a kid, and then once I got into to theater, it just opened up a whole nother sphere for me. Like I could do it all, you know, and I could act, and because Whitney was everything, she was all. So I wanted to be a lot like her. And then hip hop just seemed to be like I was writing this poetry, and then I had this fight in me, and it's been the therapy for the fight, you know? So my friends would tell me you're dope, and I was kind of closet MC. I would write, but I wouldn't want to, you know, perform it, you know, and I started performing it at poetry events. And then the way people were responding to it and identifying with it, and then my friends were experimenting on a beat, and I was like, and one of the first beats I experimented on was Mobb Deep Shook Ones. And I had a really heavy poem, and then I started getting into this rhythm, and then I played around with Bilal's Soul Sister. So I would say about 18, 19 was when I actually like recorded something.
Okay. Yeah. Now, being a creator, are you pulled one way or the other? Are you pulled more towards music than theater? More towards hip hop than R&B?
I'm so glad you asked that. For many years, I've been saying, you know, I embrace the slash, you know, my multiple talents, and attempt to submerge, but music has taken over a lot. In the last couple of years, I produced a couple of my own productions, like a one-woman play that I wrote in a complete hip hop verse. So I did my monologues and my characters in rhyme, but using, you know, my theater, my acting to tell the story. And so, like, I don't know if you've heard of Ntozake Shange for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. She inspired me a lot too. So it's in a sense kind of like a choreo poem. It's like a choreo poem. So I would say that music has taken over tremendously. Even though I want to still do film, I still want to do theater, more theater. I have done some independent films, not enough, but music has definitely taken over, and I think it's because hip hop to me saved my life. It really gave me deeper context and open and just put like a lot more business minded me, even though theater did too. I attribute a lot to theater. Hip hop really started getting me deep into like what was my awareness and deeper, even more passionate about my spirituality. Definitely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, when I see you, I get vibes from, I don't know if you know, it's an artist name, I think it's Indemnity.
You know, I've heard that one other time before. She works with Erykah Badu, right?
Yeah.
Ndambi. I've heard that one other time before. I gotta meet that sister. I gotta meet her.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, because I'm like, wow, like, and I'm such a fan of her music, and I'm like, you look just like her. You
Oh
sound like
wow! Oh, I gotta meet her. I gotta
Yes,
meet her.
yes.
Wow.
And
Wow.
she is super powerful. I don't know what she's doing right now, but I know that she was, you know, with Erykah Badu. She was I think a backup singer at one point in time, but she's on all the greatest songs, you know, Bag Lady, all the different songs. She's even in a lot of the videos.
Okay.
So when
Yes.
she broke out into her own thing, I just followed her from there, and she's been so successful. And I see the same thing in you. I'm like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I went to the DC Music Summit, because let me tell you something, that was a phenomenal event. And me and Lika went.
You.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I was late. Okay, I was late. I admit that. But we
For Big G. Kim know who I was looking for. I was looking for Big G.
Oh yeah, he was in there. We caught him. We got an interview with him. That was great. We got an interview.
Yes. And then, you know, just by being there, you guys, you know, put me on the eating and all that they have to offer with them having their own radio station in house, and it's a community thing. I'm like, where you gonna find that at? So it was just a perfect mashup of everything, including me being late, Lika. We made it for that. Look,
You need to let them know what we you need to let them know what we ended up at first.
Look. Was that the same weekend?
The Kennedy Center.
Oh,
okay. They were one of our sponsors, so that was good. Yeah.
I know. So she's at the Kennedy Center.
She said
that. Go to the Kennedy Center.
She saw that as a sponsor.
I'm gonna tell them that too. I'm like, so you have to be our sponsor, right? Because we're interconnected. Again, they have to be my sponsor again. I'm fighting. I'm fighting. And it's hard right now because it's bleak for everyone. Yeah. But I am fighting. I am saying, hey, look, we need this. It's like every day I get an example as to why artists need to be empowered.
Yes.
Almost every day there's some, and I'm not saying that that they could not research or find this information, but I mean, I think we would have a lot of less scary stories, like casting couch type stories and things. Yeah. If artists were a bit more empowered, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the way the platforms are now, we have, we don't have to go to anybody for permission, really. You can start up a YouTube and create your own program, and nobody has whatever is deep in your heart that you can tell your story, and there is an audience for you. That we have so many people in this world. Right. I mean, you only need like 1 million, and you're good. Like that believe in you.
I was doing a segment called Check the Rhyme, where I would have a music exec come on and talk to a lot of upcoming artists, because I was getting frustrated. I'm going to these showcases. These artists are performing. Sometimes they're paying $200, $300, $400, $500 to perform two songs. If they perform 2 songs, because sometimes the promoter be like, nah, you only can perform 1 song. And they're getting taken, and there's nothing coming out of it. You know, there's a meme that went around that's saying, you know, you performed the SOBs 5 times for what? Like, and it's the